1863.
Even today, Chancellorsville is considered by most historians to be Lee's greatest military triumph. Overconfidence, passivity, and mismanagement had doomed Union forces under New England-born Major General Joseph P. Hooker. And as his men retreat towards United States Ford in the driving rain, they wonder when, if ever, victory will come against the formidable army of Northern Virginia. As word filters back to Washington, Commander-in-Chief President Abraham Lincoln, who had followed events of the battle closely at the telegraph office, expresses shock and dismay.
Lincoln.
What will the country say? He wonders aloud.
1963.
Lincoln, despite the defeat, plans to stay with Hooker, to whom he is partial.
1863.
But by mid-May 1863, Hooker's own subordinate commanders, Darius Couch and John Reynolds, express a severe lack of confidence in him. Lincoln, frustrated by this, as well as Reynolds and Couch's refusal to take command of the Army of the Potomac, stubbornly sticks with Hooker, saying he was not disposed to throw away a gun if it misfires once. He would pick the lock and try again. But it is not clear whether Hooker has any bullets left in the gun. He is morphed into the man whom Lincoln despises the most, George McClellan. Hooker's endless calls for reinforcements after Chancellorsville are repeatedly denied, until finally, on June 27, Hooker submits his resignation. And probably to his great surprise, Lincoln accepts it. Lincoln, addressing his cabinet the next day, makes it clear that he observes the same failings in Hooker that were observed in McClellan after Antietam, a want of alacrity to obey, and a greedy call for more troops, which cannot be taken from other points.
George Meade was almost everybody's last choice for commander of the Army of the Potomac. Abraham Lincoln does not offer command of the Army of the Potomac to Meade. He orders him to take command of it. It wasn't a request like the others. It was, I've run out of generals. You're the only one left. Congratulations, you're now in command of the Army of the Potomac.
The disarray in the Army of the Potomac contrasts sharply with the confidence with which Lee and his 70,000 men enter Pennsylvania.
Lee had put so much of his emphasis on being allowed to take the Army of Northern Virginia into an invasion of the North. His argument had been that the way to win the war, the way to take pressure off the Union seizure of the Mississippi River Valley, the way to spare Vicksburg was to invade the North. Fight a battle on the Susquehanna, fight a battle on Northern soil. That's going to turn Northern opinion so much in the direction of peace that Northerners would demand that the Lincoln government negotiate.
On the same day Lincoln addresses his cabinet regarding Hooker, Lee at Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, learns from a spy that the Federals are concentrated just to the south at Frederick, Maryland. And more intriguing to Lee, Union troops are fighting under a new commander.
When Lee finally learns that Meade has replaced Hooker as commander of the Army of the Potomac, his first comment is to say, General Meade will make no mistake in my front, and if I make a mistake, he'll be quick to take advantage of it. Understand that up till this point, the Army of the Potomac had been a collection of losers. They had lost battle after battle after battle. Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, even the one quasi-victory they had won at Antietam in the fall of 1862 was still only a quasi-victory, and everybody knew it. It did not end in the destruction of Lee's army.
The presence of the Federals at Frederick and on the move northward causes Robert E. Lee to concentrate his army east of the mountains. He sends riders to General Ewell at Carlisle with orders to return his corps at once. The stage is now set, and within days, 170,000 men will slam headlong into one another in the greatest confrontation of the American Civil War. The outcome will reverse the fortunes of one army and begin the decline of another. And an address which still resonates in the American psyche will be delivered on hallowed ground to a war-weary nation, reminding all that those who gave the final measure of devotion did so that a nation might live.
Gettysburg has become the mecca for all Civil War buffs. It just seems to symbolize what that war was about, at least in military terms. You have this aggressive, proud, seemingly invincible Confederate army going up against these stolid Union troops who finally hold their ground and stop the enemy cold. Veterans of the Army of the Potomac would return to Gettysburg for years after the battle, partially because they were enormously proud of what happened there. They felt they had done their best fighting of the war there. The Army of the Potomac was determined to make Gettysburg its monument. And that's one reason why all those pieces of stone and bronze litter that battlefield. That's where they chose to have their war remembered.
The thing which puts the halo around Gettysburg is Lincoln. Lincoln and the Gettysburg Address. Because by coming to Gettysburg for what would otherwise have simply been the dedication of a cemetery at Gettysburg, through those brief comments that he makes, he creates an entire universe of meaning for the Battle of Gettysburg. And that universe of meaning has been with us for 150 years and probably will be for a good long time after that as well. And that address, which he never actually calls the Gettysburg Address, but those words, I think, give to Gettysburg the kind of sacred glow that means that Gettysburg is always one of those places in American history which remains instantly identifiable. As much as Americans may forget, as much as our history teaching may fall very short of giving to people and to the American people as a whole a sense of their past, nevertheless, one of the things that certainly every American recognizes, maybe not in all the details they should, but still, we recognize instantly what someone is talking about when they talk about Gettysburg.